Hey there, film fans. I'm Jeff.
I'm Dave.
And I'm John, and welcome back to The Love of Cinema, a pod in which we'll challenge one another to discuss movies, both new and old, with a strictly positive critical eye.
That's right. And to avoid lazy negativity, we've decided to make this episode a drinking game. That means that anytime we say anything negative at all about this movie, about each other, you're going to hear this sound. That sound means that we are taking a drink, and we really hope you drink along with us and have some fun talking about movies.
So, pour yourselves a glass. Ready your shots, gents. We're going to talk about a movie that asks the question, did the strike in Paris include the police?
Good question. That's really funny. That's one thing that I thought of immediately after the movie is I don't know if I saw a single law enforcement officer this entire... Actually, I rewatched all 4 of these this week because the first 3 are available on Peacock, or if you're a fucking badass like our friend Dave over here, you buy them outright. Which is great. John and I were waiting for the full box set. But,
well, I had to buy them because my wife loves them as well. Because she actually she came out to the theater for this one.
Nice.
You two on a Friday afternoon. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous.
Yeah,
Lincoln Square.
No, this was Times Square, and it'll probably be the last time I go to fucking Times Square. I can tell you that.
Gee, Dave, I haven't heard any of your...
I've heard that sentence exit your mouth before.
I haven't heard...
Real, dude. Okay, this is not a gripe. I just needed to get this out right now. But the couple next to me, I knew they were going to be trouble when they brought in a fucking feast, and half the stuff was sitting on the armchair, like, because we're in the recliners because we're Dolby.
Oh, yeah,
half the stuff sitting on my armchair. And so I come in and I sat down. Next thing I know, they're up climbing in between the seats to find the thing to plug in their phone. Mm-hmm. The fucking woman next to me took a fucking FaceTime call during the movie. And then every single fucking thought that went through their head came out their mouths. Conversations back and forwards, back and forwards, back and forwards. And it's like, you don't want to challenge these people because they'll get like super dramatic in the theater, and then you're disturbing the movie as well for everyone. Not just like, but it was just fuck off. Don't do that shit. Yeah. Sit there, shut up and watch the movie. Fuck your phone. You're not meant to be on it anyway.
Kids at the theaters. That's for you. Oh, you motherfuckers at the theater. You answering FaceTime.
They were in, like, I would say late 20s, maybe even early 30s.
Damn it.
It's like their fucking mothers didn't raise them right or something. It was,
Yeah, my gripe will contain some of that as well.
Cannot wait.
Also, for that unsanctioned rant.
Yeah, Dave.
Buzzing yourself, Dave.
For being negative for all of the right reasons. Okay, people. We're going to be talking about John Wick 4, which we all saw in the theater. John, did you see large format? Did you see IMAX or Dolby?
Dolby, yeah.
Nice. So we all saw this in large format. So if you're watching this at home later with a different format, I bet you it's still going to be awesome. But this is a 2-hour and 49-minute epic where they very shamelessly say, this is our Lawrence of Arabia. This is our David Lean, by opening with as close to, I mean, they have a lot of tipping of the caps. It wasn't even a John Wick movie for the first 10 minutes. It was something else entirely. It was such a fun...
They shot that in Jordan, where they shot Lawrence of Arabia and parts of Dune. Like, they very true, authentic homages to that shit.
So we are going to be talking about John Wick 4. If you're new to the podcast, we try to keep it spoiler free for a couple minutes. This movie, there are some spoilers, but for the most part, a lot of people die at the hands of John Wick. This is just how it's going to be, but we will try to keep it spoiler free with our initial takeaways. What did we think? What did we feel, without getting into the nitty gritty kind of stuff? At the end of the episode, we'll give you a recommendations of the week, what you've been watching. We're going to get through some gripes here right off the bat and just catch up a little bit. So if you need to get to your review, if it's like, the movie's going to start in 20 minutes and you just want to know, does it suck or not? Skip ahead like 10 minutes or so. But really quick, the last thing I want to say before we get into our gripes here is just a quick question. It has nothing to do with A.O. Scott leaving the New York Times and all that stuff, which maybe we can talk about at the very end of the podcast. But so Shazam had a terrible second week at the box office. It made $9 million in its second week. It only made 30 in its first week. So that's really bad. It's a really bad sign for money. Maybe deep down inside, John and I think it's a good sign, but sorry. I buzzed John anyway.
Because you knew yours was coming.
But I was thinking this because we got the trailer for Dungeons and Dragons, which comes out next week, and it's like available in IMAX. And so Shazam was last week. It was in IMAX and Dolby at AMC. It immediately got bumped this week, which certainly didn't help its numbers. Not that, it could,
see,
not
that's
that it
the
could
thing.
do miracles.
Shazam was formatted for IMAX. It wasn't even filmed in anything close for IMAX.
So
See, now we've got filmed in IMAX, filmed for IMAX, and formatted for IMAX. You've got 3 of them now. Only one of them is actual IMAX. Well, the other one is a money grab.
They all charge full price regardless. And then next week you have Dungeons and Dragons, which I imagine is going to bump John Wick. So I doubt theaters can just build new IMAX or Dolby theaters, but this is the way the world is heading. And this is part of the AO Scott review, which again, we'll get to later, but it's like movies are turning into theme parks. Scorsese said it. We've all said it well before Martin Scorsese said it. But how can you do, what if 2 movies are going to end up coming out on the same weekend? I'm sure that's already happened. Guys,
no, they keep shifting them around. They shift them around.
But even still, 1 week's not enough, you know? Like, what if you were busy this week?
For some movies it is.
Well, for just...
Then you miss out on IMAX.
So if I'm busy for 1 week, I can't see my favorite movie, Shazam 2, in IMAX.
Yeah, I feel like that's happened to me a couple times for sure, where I did miss the window, like the 1 week window. It's almost like the new version of a theatrical release.
Yeah.
Like it's more about like, you know, you're really trying to just catch it so that you can take advantage of your A-list with, or your whatever your subscriber-based deal is with Regal or AMC or the major theater near you, and see it on that big format. I don't know, man. This is everything is. It's a weird place right now. Weird place. But we all had a great time in this movie, I'm sure.
Yeah, I do worry that they're going to knock down 4 theaters, or even they can't do the basement because it's not tall enough at AMC. But what if they just took out the 4, like the basement theaters that play only art house movies, and they just built a new IMAX theater? Anyway, it won't be as big as the Lincoln Square upstairs. But anyway, I guess that doesn't matter too much. Any other news that you guys want to talk about, relevant or not, before we get into our gripes? And I just want
to shout out. I was holding off to watch the trailer until I saw it in person. My brother-in-law, Jack Doolan, is one of the supporting stars in the upcoming film Sisu. Finished, and I got that played before my John Wick. So I don't know if you guys got there in time to see it.
I did not get there in time, but that's so cool.
Therese turned to me and she was like, "Yeah, I'm down for that one."
What?
Nice. Yeah. So that's Jack's voice throughout the whole thing. He's the one doing the voiceover, talking about the guy.
Fuck out of here.
He doesn't sound half as drunk as I remember him.
Yeah, sure. He's got the German accent. It's another Lionsgate, so that's why it's before John Wick. I think it's coming out the last weekend of April. Super, super excited about that. Directed by, let me not fuck this guy's name up, Jalmari Helander, Finnish director, I believe. It's getting really good.
You might have still fucked that up. I don't know. We don't have a benchmark.
I have no idea either.
Is this the one he sent us the trailer for a while ago?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
With the guy that, like the one guy during wartime who's like was he a botanist and a killer or something? What's his job? What does he do?
I mean, you should watch the trailer, but basically he's an ex-soldier and he finds gold on his own on his way back from war in World War II. Cool. And then these Nazis try to take it from him and he just fucking kills everybody. It's just going to be a gory, fun, ridiculous mess.
I mean, when I'm doing a road trip, I often...
Max.
Yeah, when I'm doing a road trip, I often pull off to the side and just pan for gold somewhere.
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
I think we need to get Jack on this podcast before he gets a publicist who will very astutely stop him from doing it.
It's like, you don't want to go on that show. It'll do what John the Majors is doing to his career at the moment.
Oh, fuck.
Dave, just drink, Dave. What is Jonathan Majors doing now? What happened?
This has been he was arrested in New York City for beating up a woman.
Yeah. Jonathan Majors?
Yeah. There's a whole heap of stuff. Like, it came out this morning. I think this happened last night. And the internet immediately went, fucking asshole, and jumped on the bandwagon.
Why wouldn't
it's now come out that she might have recanted a statement. I don't know what's going on. I hope, this isn't him, because if this is him, that's a really bad taste in your mouth.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see.
I'm gonna do the smart thing and wait and see.
Smart. Also, Gwyneth Paltrow might be innocent too, so you gotta be patient, people. You gotta be patient. All right.
What did she do?
Ran someone down on skis.
Yeah, but it also might have been him running into her and then not realizing it was her, and then after he realized it was her, he decided to sue her because she's wealthy. Like, it's all this stuff because she never took her helmet off, so he didn't know it was her at first. So he apologized, said I'm so sorry, and then afterwards decided, well, also, anyway, it doesn't matter. None of this matters.
That's a televised court hearing as well, too.
Sure.
It's very. Want to get into let's gripe it out so we can talk about this fucking movie.
All right,
Dave.
I already stuck mine in. So
was that your gripe and your non-gripe?
I think it should be. Yes.
Okay, fair enough. John,
hit me. I'll continue subscribe timer going. I'll continue with Dave's rant. This was a shocking screening that I just went to. I saw it the 11:15 a.m. screening at our Dolby. So, I don't know what I was expecting. I was not expecting a lot of families with small children. Which is
my God.
some of what showed up.
Welcome to therapy, kids.
Small kids, like ages 4 to 10, like multiple families, one of which sat right beside us. And they were just so rude. The parents and grandparents and whoever else was there was just like, it was just such an obvious example of like, this is how fucking uncivilized, trashy animals turn into those cunts that sat next to you, Dave, as adults, talking on their phone, plugging in shit. These kids were moving all over the place. They were on their phones the whole time. Big fucking surprise. They had a feast of food, stinky pretzels and cheese dips and all the things that you probably shouldn't be eating in fucking movie
what we're saying is
theaters.
they had too much disposable income.
I guess so, dude. But also, like, I don't know. Again, I don't know if y'all saw the trailers, but they were very disturbing. Sure, there were very disturbing horror movie trailers. Before this, not to mention the violence, and there's not like lots of profanity, but there's certainly plenty of very intense, consequential violence in John Wick. And it kind of just made me think, like, what the hell is happening to America when, like, this isn't like some trashy couple bringing their baby that they couldn't get a babysitter for. That sucks in a different way. This is like these families were like intentionally bringing 6-year-olds to see R-rated movies. I don't know. I thought it was fucking weird.
Yeah. And the person out the front that's getting $14 an hour is not going to police that. They're like, you know what? I don't want you shouting at me.
Also,
in you go.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
Watching like gun culture in this society, I don't want to get in an argument with anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like straight up.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll tell you the creepiest experience I've ever had with a family at the movies was The Dark Knight. Because there is nothing creepier than Heath Ledger up there doing his thing, and there's a 5-year-old girl 4 seats up just singing in a little 5-year-old girl voice in the dark. It was creepy as fuck.
Jesus.
that is fucking. That's gonna be.
Fuck that though.
The next Smile 2 is going to be doing that. They're going to be going to the theaters and having little kids sing.
Oh my god, yeah, I can't believe they're making Smile 2 of that. I found another trailer I can't watch as well. The fucking Boogeyman, the Stephen King Boogeyman. Eyes off the screen, man. I'm staring at my popcorn. I can't watch it.
From the trailer. Oh.
Yeah, scared the shit out of me twice.
Trailer.
It's a great trailer.
How about the Evil Dead Rising?
I can watch that no problem at all. But that fucking thing under the bed when it rolls around.
Sure.
Yeah.
What about
I'm done.
Pretty good.
What about the new Dracula movie with Nicolas Cage?
Renfield.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
I
or
like the
what?
old trailer better than the new one.
Yeah, they got to mix it up, you know.
I guess there's going to be a lot more Nick Cage in the movie than I thought the first trailer alluded to. I thought he would just be a tiny pop-up every now and then, but I think he's all over it. It looks like from the second trailer.
I don't know. You might have seen all of it.
Yeah, nowadays. All right, let's go. Why do I keep getting carrots? Could somebody explain this to me? Carrots are the worst fucking food that we've ever gotten. They're made for rabbits and poor people that used to live in the woods and stews. I don't understand why we do this to ourselves. I've never gotten food more in my life that I immediately threw out a month later after not eating than these carrots. They come with everything now. I mean, they literally, okay, if you're making a rabbit stew or a pheasant stew, you know, because you live out in the sticks, you're like fucking Katniss out there. Sure, go ahead, get some rabbits. Get some carrots. I guess it's fine, but these are not good. They have no flavor. They're so crunchy. We put them on salads. So we have like lush greens and stuff, and then these fucking crunchy ass carrots that suck balls. It tastes like a hardened like paste. Like it's like a water like paste that like hardened that's just orange. And I know you can roast them and it's okay. I know they're healthy and they got the lutein. Don't you talk to me about the fucking lutein. And why do they come with wings? So wings are a little spicy. So it's like, here you go. I know that, you know, that delicious, beautiful, even the cauliflower wings. John's a vegetarian. Go ahead. But here you go. Why don't we go ahead and wash that down with paste so it'll just completely eliminate any decent flavor from your mouth? That sounds like a fucking terrible plan.
Like carrots,
fucking
man.
carrots.
You got to dip them in peanut butter, dude.
Carrots.
Come on,
No.
this shit's good.
Well, yeah, because then the peanut butter tastes good. Or if you dip it in hummus, you know what's really good? Just hummus. I don't need the carrot. You could have a chip with hummus or just eat the hummus. I don't need the carrot. The carrot is the vessel for the hummus. Hummus is not a vessel for the carrot.
Martin Short from Only Murders.
Only Murders is filming near my building, and I'm so pissed that I keep missing it. A student of mine was like, hey, I saw Selena Gomez in a wedding dress before the news reports came out.
Do you prefer carrots or celery?
Carrots all the way.
So green water that's stringy or an orange soluble paste.
Celery is
basically.
negative carrots. I'm not fucking eating that.
Celery is negative carrots.
Negative calories.
Yeah, I've heard the rumors about that too. Yeah, there's a lot of great fiber in there. They're great in stews, guys. They're great in stews. Eating on its own, come on.
All right, we've blown 15 minutes of this show. Let's get into it.
John Wick 4, which does not have a subtitle. It's just John Wick Chapter 4. No Parabellum, none of that other kind of shit.
They ran out of cool words.
Did anybody else do a rewatch recently? I literally watched all 3 of these in the past week because they're on
I
Peacock.
watched the second one. Yeah.
What do you like? What do you think of the second one? You like it?
Yeah, man.
What's your
dude?
going into this?
Glad. Remember, we where did this end up landing in our Corona franchise face off?
I think it would be higher.
It was high. No, it was there.
It made it through the first round.
There legitimately.
Yeah, there was a whole thing. Remember the whole thing of John Wick versus Toy Story, where I refused to vote? Spoiler alert.
And we ended up giving it to Toy Story, but under fucking duress. There's no way I'm doing that again.
We had to rebuild the whole fucking bracket, dude.
Oh, because
I love these movies, dude.
Oh my god,
they're so much fun.
John Wick versus Toy Story. The franchise face-off was fun, people.
It got nuts. It got nuts.
How was it watching all 3 before going back to for this one?
Well, Peacock, actually, they're only 60-second commercials, so I know there's commercials. It is a little weird to like watch John Wick like kill someone with a pencil and then immediately cut to like a commercial about cataracts. But you know, all things considered, it didn't take the piss out of it too much. It was totally great. I love rewatching this. And you know what? I have a feeling
they place their ads so well too. It's like, yeah, someone asked me if I'm back. Yeah, I'm guessing I'm hemorrhoid cream.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's like right into it.
Yeah, the ad placements are weird.
Would you guys all agree your order is 1, then 2, then 3? If you were to rank the first 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too bad because I love the third movie. I actually really like the third movie. I don't know if I love the narrative thing of being like, it's all about the table. The second movie is like the table. I want a seat at the table, family. I got to kill my sister because the seat at the table. Oh, you killed my sister. Then I have to kill you because you killed my sister. And that actually came from the table. And then instead of seeing the table, we're like, oh, there's actually somebody above the table. So that alone is the reason it's number 3 for me. But I love the third one. I think the third one's really fun.
For me, the third one started to feel a little bit video gamey by the end of it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think the reason John Wick was so successful initially is because it did have an emotional core that people thought kind of funny, but it still grounded John in some like very personal emotional vengeance.
Nothing will ever top the look in that guy's face.
Went away from that one.
Nothing will ever top the look in that guy's face when he finds out what his kid did.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
That was a fun opening to 2 when he's talking about getting his car back and he calls him the Russian.
Oh yeah.
And the Russian's like describing John Wick again. It's just great.
I miss John Leguizamo.
How they talk about John Wick, how they greet John Wick, how every scene is like everyone has some fun way they greet him when they see him. It's just such a big deal. Anyway.
Well, I love that in the third one when you get those stunties that are like, it's such a pleasure to meet you and work with you. And they're like about to try to kill each other. I miss John Leguizamo. I miss the people that were close to John Wick. But, you know, it is cool that the quote-unquote people who are close to him in the fourth movie all have a slightly tenuous relationship with him for various reasons, shooting them off a roof or whatever. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we'll get into this. I just want to know, though, has John Wick ever taken a day and just like read a book? You know what I mean? What does he look like when he like does his taxes? What does his accountant say when they're like filing like, okay, so you have a house that's worth what, $4 million in New Jersey or whatever that is?
Before
where did that money
these
come
5 or
from?
6 days, yes.
I'm curious
Does
about
H&R Block take gold coins?
This is the Harry Potter thing. Harry Potter's parents left their infant child with a fortune. I don't know a single young parent that has that kind of money. Not a single one. Even the fucking Kushners didn't start their family with that kind of money. Where did John Wick? How did he get all of these coins and just hoard them? He's hoarding more coin than Elon.
What does his W9 say?
He killed people.
I know he killed people. That's a fucking lot of people, and he didn't spend it. Even that house didn't cost that much. He still has money to spend. Anyway, people, we're talking about
number one assassin in the world, dude. I believe it.
He's the.
How many people have you killed, John?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah. What's your favorite line on the movie? Right. We'll get there. We're talking about John Wick Chapter 4. People, they're David Lean epic. 2 hours 49 minutes. So good in the theaters. My audience was great, by the way. Not to take away from you guys. My audience was fucking awesome. Quiet the whole time, except when they laughed or when they applauded.
The rest of my audience was great. It was just those 2 fuckers next to me.
2 people can ruin a 400, 500 seat theater very quickly. Let's get into it, people. We are going to be talking about the Baby Yoda of the Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga of...
Jesus.
of this world in which your constant reminder is treat your homeless people better. That might not be a homeless person. That might be Jason Mantzoukas, who knows the sewer systems really well. People were talking about John Wick Chapter 4. I'm going to read a quick IMDb description. I think you get the gist. Keanu's back. Laurence Fishburne's back. Reddick is back. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
Ian McShane. Yeah, well, we'll talk about that. Ian McShane. Bill Skarsgard returns as the villain. That's in the trailer. I'm not giving anything away. He's very tall. He's very skinny. Very tall. Fuck, he's tall. Man, he was like towering over Keanu in some of these shots. Bill Skarsgard. That's right. It. Pennywise from It. Clancy Brown plays a harbinger. And
Love Clancy Brown.
We have a new elder. Not sure why or how, but you know, that happens. And, oh, wait, who's another standout that I want to shout out? I like Helena Rendo. Scott Adkins in the suit. That was great.
Donnie Yen.
Donnie Yen, that's it. I skipped it over.
Just oozing through occasional scenes.
So fucking awesome.
Shamier Anderson. Got to give it up. I mean, he was a big part of the movie.
As the tracker. Sure. All right. I'm going to read you the IMDb. I'm going to read you the IMDb description. I should also say Chad Stahelski, shout out, and producing partner David Leitch, who we talked about Bullet Train, David Leitch's movie recently, last year. But Chad Stahelski is back directing his fourth picture. Writers Shay, Hatten, Michael Finch, Derek Kolstad. Let's go. John Wick uncovers a path to defeating the high table. This fucking table, guys. I need to see this fucking table. There's going to be a fifth one, and they're going to show me this goddamn table. Otherwise, I'm fucking storming out of there. I got to see this table. I want a mob table, King Arthur at the core. I want it. Yep. But before he can earn his freedom, Wick must face off against a new enemy with powerful alliances across the globe and forces that turn old friends into foes. Man, that's a whole heap of nothing. What'd you guys think? Initial takeaways, thoughts, feels? Get at me.
Well, they're...
Dave.
My beard just hit. If anybody wants to know, it takes about 25 minutes.
What?
My beard just hit. So if anybody wants to know, cool. 25 minutes or so.
Cool. Yeah, there's been so much internet buzz about this. It's like, you know, they're like, it's getting better reviews than John Wick 1, and it's better than John Wick 1.
Not better than, yeah.
No, it wasn't. Sorry. I was a little disappointed.
Ooh.
To be honest, I'm sorry. I'm coming out swinging.
Dave! Sorry, go ahead.
This was like, don't get me wrong, it was great, and I had a great time. But the fights were just so fucking long. Mm-hmm. Like, and when you start seeing repeats of fight choreography, it's like, did they just put the earlier scene back in from a different angle and stuff? And the fights were just too long. They did not need to be that long. I feel like it could have been punchier. I feel like this was a stunt reel gone nuts. And I'm usually 100% behind the studies, and they did some great work, but there was too much.
So Dave, more disappointed in John Wick Chapter 4.
This could have been half an hour shorter.
Shazam 2. When you saw the runtime of 2 hours and 49 minutes, did you think, you know what, maybe it's just a lot of short fights?
Well, yeah. I was expecting.
Do you think it was like 70 minutes of straight fighting, probably?
A lot of talking by John Wick?
I don't know, but I know there was at least 2 phone calls made in the scene next to me while they were fighting.
Oh, so you actually understand why they took the call.
How did they hear anything? It was so loud.
Right. Well, that was the thing I leaned over and asked my wife. I'm like, how could she hear anything? Which is the other thing I kind of want to point out. Like, I would love to see the loudness meter on this fucking film, because that Dolby mix, that
very loud.
That Dolby mix was pushed, I'm pretty sure, past the sound mixer's recommendations. Because at the beginning, like, my wife had her fingers in her ears.
Yeah, the
opening was too loud. I agree with you.
And everything. It was a lot, and it was very overstimulating. I think they took.
Can you imagine it in IMAX? It was probably even louder, because it's a louder mix in IMAX.
Yeah, but I feel like they took a lot of things off the chain, and this one wasn't as tight for me.
All right.
I have a feeling you're putting this as your number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 in that order. Okay.
Yes.
In that order. Wow. Okay. I had a good time. I know what you mean. I'm not going to disagree with anything you just said. It was mixed pretty loud. It was shamelessly long. But I think they knew what movie they were making the whole time. And I guess I was more forgiving of these ridiculous fight scenes just because that's kind of what I've come to expect. And when we get more into some of the story breakdown. Elizabeth and I were talking afterwards, and she asked me if there was anything I would have cut other than just like shortening fight scenes, like actual sequences or storytelling beats and stuff. And for the most part, I thought that they did a really good job of, you know, when you dramaturgically, when you're talking about structure and writing, every chance you get, you know, you want to let your character, your protagonist, get to the top of the stairs and then kick them down 200 sets of you want to find ways to put them against the wall over and over and over again and never solve problems for them. And I do think they did a fun job of justifying going around the world with this whole assassins, you know, network, and making each time he had to solve a new problem almost unsolvable without a giant fight sequence that nearly kills him, and yet having enough satire to realize, of course we know that would have killed him. Like every single one of these things was, they were pushing it more extreme and in a sillier, bigger, more epic ways.
It's the same thing Fast and Furious did, but like Fast and Furious did it subtly. It's like, there's no way a car could do that, but you can't really tell. There are some stunts in this where people would have died. Nice. Yeah. For sure. Except for the car in space.
That car in space, Dave, and I had 2 edibles that hit me right like while we were watching that movie. When that car went to space, I just laughed. I was like, I don't need to listen to this movie to the end. I just laughed to the end of the movie.
That part, I guess. But I think my only real criticism is that, as we were saying earlier, they pepper this in, and it definitely ends with them giving a very big homage to this without giving super details away here. But the reason I think we all love these movies so much at the beginning is because they were grounded in some kind of fun, tongue-in-cheek reason for vengeance, but they played it sincerely, as though John was very upset about the dog and his wife. And I don't know if, it's just gone so big with so many set pieces and fight sequences that it has kind of gone away from the emotional roots of why we were invested in this story. Again, they bring it back at the end, so maybe that's enough for you. But I think I had more fun than you did, Dave. I did enjoy this one. I think I would put it above number 3.
I had fun. Like, I had a blast, and some of that stuff was great, but it's just, there comes a point when you're a henchman, when you run into a room and you see such a pile of fucking bodies that you're like, fuck this, I'm not getting paid enough to walk in here. They just kept coming. Like, there was 20 minutes
in the price.
20 minutes in that.
I have questions.
20 minutes in that one glass room. Like,
we'll get to this spoiler section, and then I want to ask you a couple questions, which I don't want to be like gripey things, but just like questions, like. Back to our A.O. Scott, the review that we keep talking about, just things to converse about, not necessarily peg the movie for, because I'm just curious to know what you think, but that is definitely one of them. Raising the price $2 million. Okay. 26 million instead of 24. I guess that means that I will now die for this. Anyway, I love this movie. I really did. I loved it a lot. I will say, though, I agree with both of you in the sense that out of all 4 of the movies, and I rewatched them all, and so I've seen each of them at least twice, and most of them I've seen 3 or 4 times. This is the movie that I walked out of with the most amount of questions, which is funny because you would think with your 3-hour epic, they would really tie a bow around a lot of different things and really make it very clear. The first movie's an hour and a half, right? Let's not overstate it. It's an hour and a half. It's so simple. We all know what happens.
It's almost a perfect film.
I mean, it's almost is curious. I want to circle that and come back, but at the same time, I just want to let it be. And then the second movie's 2 hours, and then the third's 2:10, and then this one's 2:50. And I listened to an interview with Chad Stahelski, but I'm not going to reference it too much other than to say he mentioned that bigger and better isn't always the answer, which is fucking hilarious doing the tour for this movie.
Yeah.
After saying, we know that bigger and better. He's like, what about bazookas? It's like, that's not us. You know what is us? Literally unlivable sequences with no consequences. Like those kinds of things they were okay with. But anyway, it's still so fun. The sequences really were brilliant. And as always, perhaps even more so in this movie, these movies are a testament to stunt performers and what happens when you pay your people appropriately. Because Keanu Reeves very famously does not take his upfront salary. He gets the back end. And even that, I think he reinvests back in. But he basically makes them pay the stunt people, I don't know, double what they would get on a different movie to make sure that they get every single stunt person that they can possibly get. Every single stunt performer at the top of their game will not choose a different movie over a John Wick. And that's a really hard task because you need this now almost 60-year-old man. Keanu Reeves is almost 60 years old now. You need him to to believably kill you, but you can't just look like you're standing there waiting for him to kill you. So it's actually a harder assignment than you would think. Not even just getting thrown downstairs, but
I did like
of it.
This one looked harder for Keanu, and they worked it into the choreography.
Yeah, he's a survivor. That's what he is.
Yeah.
If you were to say what is his archetype, it's not the assassin, it's the survivor.
In this movie.
Yeah, the people. I mean, I don't know how Keanu didn't. He did. I mean, but like,
I mean, by the end of that first stunt sequence, I was fucking tired. But I can imagine how he felt.
Yeah, exhausting. Yeah, no. I think there is enough of the realism there that totally delivers for that. I was talking the other day. I won't say some people I know who I was talking to about Shazam and some other movies that were coming out.
Say quieter, Shazam.
Yeah, Shazam. And this movie, we were referencing movies that are coming out recently. We just started kind of acknowledging that unspoken agreement that audiences have with filmmakers that is all about the give and takes, the quid pro quo, the proportions. If certain parts of your movie aren't as strong, other things need to compensate, or everything needs to kind of live in this similar proportional place. So, Dave, I know what you're saying, and I don't, just kind of like what Jeff was like, yes, those things are true, but the delivery and the execution of these things was so well done that I didn't feel like I was going up and down a lot in terms of my watching experience.
Yeah.
Where kind of last week with Shazam, like when we were pointing out problems with story structure and stuff and some of the absurdities of the magic and inconsistencies, there were so many inconsistencies and not enough compensation that it got me in my head a little bit too much. This one, I was in my head. Sure. I was in my head for this one about those things, but I was able to have a really, really good time and just say, you know what, but that's the movie. As I said, like I bread and butter.
I prefaced mine with the fact that I was incredibly distracted by the two assholes next to me who had no respect whatsoever. Yeah. So that may have affected.
They made it worse for you.
I think
for
that
sure.
may have affected it.
But at the same time, you know, I know people went and saw Endgame and even going back to like Titanic and other 3-hour movies multiple times in the theaters. They hurt the rewatchability of this by making it so long, you know. So if nothing else, if you're watching all of these, you could watch 2 of the first movie in the time to watch 1 of this, and you know that's like, I know it's not all about this is definitely an event movie, and I think they knew that, and people are going to buy the box set. It's great.
I'm wondering, because they said they're taking a rest after this. I'm wondering, did they get like the scripts for 4 and 5 and jam it together into 2 movies?
Do you know that there's going to be, you know what I mean? Well, we have to wait till spoilers.
He said it. I mean, they said that they're taking a rest after this one.
I hope so. Keanu looked broken. I mean,
well, and
how is he doing this?
Well, welcome, because again, he's really close to 60. Don't forget, like his first film was in 1982, I think, which is 40 years ago. So do the math. Yeah. I mean, he's
incredible.
60. And the Bill and Ted was 89. So he's been in the limelight for
like I'm 50 and I'm tired just fucking talking about it. So, you know, hat off.
You don't look or act 50, Dave. That's cool.
All right, let's move into spoilers, dude.
We love this movie. I think this movie's fun. Go fucking see it in the theater. Who cares about these questions? It's going to be fun. And then you'll have questions later and talk about it with your friends. Go see the movie.
I had a blast.
Spoilers. Here come the spoilers.
I want to keep it positive, but I also want to get to my questions. But I also don't want to commandeer the episode with just like the little gripey things. But quick question. I have 3 quick questions. Okay. 3 quick questions. Number 1. Why does Laurence Fishburne know the sewer system of every major city? No, I'm kidding. That's not one of my questions. Is it starting to annoy you that they keep talking about the table, but they refuse to show you? And they show you like one person at a time, but it's like, can we just see the table?
They're kind of trying to do like with Bond, where you didn't see the organization, you just saw like one person at a time.
And I think that was one of the biggest complaints about the last one. Is it's like, what is Spectre? We don't care. Then you just killed them in the last movie. They killed all of them. And it was like, okay.
And they didn't even have a fucking table.
They're like, oh, we were going to kill Bond, but we accidentally killed all of Spectre. Done.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that movie was so long, the Spectre. And then in the next one, they just kill everybody.
You know who killed Spectre? It was that chick that was on the poster for all of the media, but was only in the movie for 5 minutes.
Well, look, I love the sequences, but they keep being like, we listen to the table. Now you don't. You listen to either the person who sits above the table or the person who sits below the table, who has more money than the table. This is the marquee I'm talking about, Bill Skarsgard. Or he just speaks for when is the table? Why do they give up all their you know what I mean? It's like at some point, just give me John Leguizamo helping him steal a car to kill somebody, as opposed to like take down this organization that I don't even know who they are anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it is just so obviously alluding to something that if they want to do it with the franchise, they can go higher and higher.
It's got to be the next one. It's got one and done, one more and done.
If you feel like you're being exploited, I hear you.
Okay, quick question. Why was the Seeker there at the end? He was just an invited guest?
Who?
The Seeker.
I feel like he was
Mr.
just
Nobody.
The guy that was hunting him?
there.
Yeah, because he doesn't have any stakes in the last one. So they basically just said he was like an invited guest. So he was there. His laugh was really a good moment in the movie, but like, I don't know.
I feel like he just sat off to the side. He wasn't even like there.
But like other guests could
Which
just
was
come
a
and
strange
sit off
place
the
to
side.
sit because you're basically behind the jewel.
Again, I like his laugh, but like he no longer had any stakes in this. Anyway, that
Jeff,
doesn't
you still
matter.
have a drink indicator.
Oh, sorry. What was the last one that I wanted to ask? Anyway.
Speaking of him, I felt like his I don't know if they did as good of a job as I wanted them to do to believe that he could actually ever kill John Wick with the way they establish him at the beginning and stuff. You know what I mean? Like I didn't feel like he was overwhelmingly. I did not feel like he was as talented as Donnie Yen. You know, I didn't feel like he was much of a threat that was just, you know, a bomb that hasn't had a fuse lit yet. I felt like he was in pursuit, but not even in the same echelon as John Wick and Donnie Yen and Sanada.
While we're on the subject of that, those particular scenes, I just want to talk about cinematography for a second. Because holy shit, dude! Like they changed styles constantly because they went like full Shogun movie style with the like the sword fight in the Osaka Continental.
Is this the first time we saw other people battle it out without John Wick on the set?
I think so. Yeah.
This is the first time they did that. Right?
They're setting up for the Continental series because they've already got one spin-off filmed, Ballerina, which has Ana de Armas as another assassin in a different Continental. But so they're setting up a franchise basically now for
like
Tyler to spin offs, which might be why that guy was introduced.
Third movie.
But the thing I love the most, like in that duel, they had the Shogun style film like cinematography, and then when they went into the building with the other guy, where it culminates the Seekers like fight, and it goes up above. And we get a top down, and it was so fucking into the void. I was just like, like it looks so good.
Was that your favorite?
Was that your favorite cinematography sequence? Was that your favorite sequence? Your big fight sequence?
Yeah,
the overhead.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because whenever we plot out like movies, we sometimes with cinematographers, production designers, directors, we'll do overhead diagrams for where we're going to set up lights or blocking or staging and stuff. And I love that. I wonder, like, in their design room, if they're like, God, what else can we do? And they're just like,
I'm sure
let's just do it like that.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. Let's just film it like as an overhead diagram. We plot everything out like that anyway. Let's just put a camera up there.
You know what choice I loved especially well? And I have to say, I know, Dave, you thought the glass, it was exhausting because you had this huge sequence. And why did John Wick just put all these people at risk? Anyway, but at the Osaka hotel. But I love the color of that because that was the most, I just did the rewatch. So having rewatched them, that was the most John Wick sequence with the mirrors and the lights and all that kind of stuff. That was so John Wick. It
reminded me a lot
the
of
color
the
was
end
great.
of 3.
Yeah, so, which was the one thing I didn't like.
Yeah, I understand.
About
3. But the overhead sequence is definitely my number 2, which is probably going to age into my number 1. But what I love the most about it is it's almost video game style. They showed you the camera lifting up. So it's almost like the audience got to go, oh shit, here it goes. And then the audience got to go, I bet you they do this in one take. Because now there's no cutaways that we need. We could do the whole thing above the grid. We know it's a closed set. They literally like showed us the seams. They were like, we're going up, scoop, 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 and we're doing a crane shot for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
I love that they did that.
Have you seen Into the Void?
I don't believe so. Yeah. I knew you referenced. Yeah. John, you have?
Yeah, there's a lot of that cinematography in this. Only when you cross over to other rooms, there's usually like gratuitous sex or some weird shit going on. But in this case, it was
a weird movie.
Yeah, it's so weird. I felt dirty after watching it.
John, that's for you.
My favorite sequence. Oh, thank you. Why did I get?
You're welcome. Because you said it was weird. That's a negative comment.
That's a compliment coming from him.
Okay. Especially for that movie. My favorite sequence for sure was the club in Berlin.
Oh, fun. Even though the people just didn't leave, despite the fact that bodies were piling up, and these people were like, fuck yeah, this is fun. They're probably just overdosing on Molly.
So much fun. The original kill or, throat slice with the card. The fact that it was such a good tropey setup where like the people who are trying to kill him, the Seeker, and Kane are there with him in a card game. It felt very Bond. Very Bond villain. Scott Adsit did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
It was funny. The scene was good. The scene was funny. And then John grabs a playing card and slices his neck with it. Like classic, that's the kind of fighting that I'm into. And then it escalated and became gorgeous when they were in the club room. And seeing Scott Adsit, or whoever his stunt performer was, Adkins, thank you, in the giant fat suit, was so weird and absurd fun. Watching him fight him was so fun and beautiful. And then when he throws him off into that water, it became overwhelming. I was just so
I love at the beginning of that scene as well.
How beautiful it was.
Like,
I'm not just only going to bag this movie out. Like, I love at the beginning of that scene, you had two people who were there to kill John Wick. One of them was going to kill the other guy. And the other, like the Russian guy, just wanted them all dead and didn't really care. But when the fight started, no one took a cheap shot. Like, it just
like John.
Yeah. And it, like, that was I like the it was very samurai almost, like everyone had a code of honor.
And I loved too when they did the card game and you want to kill them and you want to kill them. There was an absurdist nature to this. It went into this sort of bizarre tone. And so that when you get the 5-2s, it actually kind of took me, and I played poker before, it took me a second to realize, oh wait, they're playing like one deck poker. 5-2s is literally impossible. Like, duh, of course. This whole thing is like, we're playing cards to kill time. Guys, we're not deciding our fates on a fucking card game. Are you kidding me? The stakes of the world are in our hands here. The whole thing was just... I love that sequence too. But to me, and again, this goes back to the stunt performers, the extras fucking awesome in this. And I know that sounds crazy, but they're dancing, they're in water and such. And it's like, because I'm sitting there looking around and be like, how do they not notice what's going on? They filled the scene out. They made the scene. Whereas, you could argue that in the other scenes, it's kill, move, kill, move, kill, move, kill, move, and it can get tiring. But in this case, you're the club member. I'm not in this assassin organization. I'm dancing in the background on Molly, not noticing that this shit's happening right in the middle of me. And I thought it was fascinating.
I'm sitting there going, wow, do they film this in an Australian bar? Because nobody runs down there either.
It was also the first, when John gets thrown off that top level, it's the first time that you're like, he should be dead. And he just ends up and starts fighting, like a lot of other people in an even more beautiful setting. And I was like, God, this movie is ridiculous. Like, it was just
there are at least two of those he should be dead things.
Can you imagine? Again, I mean, you really can't. You got to put yourself in their shoes when they're designing that, and they're like, "Is this too much? Like, he's gonna fall like 30 feet.
I bet you they asked that question
back on the way down, and then we're just gonna send 10 guys in, and he just starts fighting immediately. Like, and you just keep saying, "No, it will never be too much, as long as he looks like he's in pain. Let's just keep sending guys in."
And also, you know what I thought about is I was on the train and somebody was doing something weird and I was looking at the weird and then they looked towards me and I like looked away awkwardly and I knew as soon as I looked away they knew I was looking at them even though I was trying, you know what I mean? They do the thing right after the sequence too where John just like doesn't disappear into the crowd. It's so obviously him out there. Whereas like in the Grand Central thing with Mark DeCastis, he can like disappear into the crowd. So as part of me also was thinking, I was like, they're not showing their hand. I feel like Keanu was also like, I'm tired of running. So like there's moral of the story is the Berlin sequence worked so well because there was more going on. Whereas you can argue that with Paris, which is amazing, but it was too simple to need an hour, where in this case, there's real nuance in the Berlin. And when he could have easily escaped with the crowd and disappeared, but he stopped and he turned around, he sees the Seeker and Mr. Nobody. And it's like, I feel like he did all that intent. I feel like that was all very
I just need to know, he's got an entire force of assassins after him. How the fuck is he getting these places?
Yeah, another question that they're just
like, what?
It's impossible to answer.
It's like, let's not even touch that.
Especially when they set up at the very beginning that like he has so few friends and so even fewer friends that he trusts, and that friend gets murdered. So
talk to me about Osaka for a second, because I really do think that situation was gorgeous, but they immediately at the end of it, you have the quote unquote table or representatives asking Bill Skarsgård, was it necessary? And he says the bloodshed's necessary. So I believe that checks the box. But then you also have back at the hotel, like, why did you come here? You put everybody in danger. So you have John Wick putting everybody in danger. You have the table not necessarily needing to just murder everybody just because John Wick's there. I feel like they're kind of building their own problems a little heavy-handed in this situation. You know what I mean? Even though I loved the sequence, do you think that was a little heavy-handed? Because we're not talking about Osaka. That whole thing was incredible.
Yeah.
The image, the sword fighting, because this movie is called Gung Fu, right? Or Gun Fu is like a trope of this genre, because it's like kung fu movies but with guns. And anyway, what do you think?
Also, electric guns. I should point out they were not using live guns.
Apparently Teflon that turns bullets into like feathers. But yeah,
that was funny when he started taking the coat off. I mean, you clink, 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 and fucking bullets falling out of it.
Both of them.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah,
I think the Osaka sequence was important because when you're dealing with an assassin's network like this, like even though you have some homages to certain kinds of friendships and loyalties, you still have a character like Ian McShane shooting John, in 3. And I feel like there's they needed to show, it was important to show that there is still honor in this world. And I think by Sanada doing that, it was actually a device to help raise the stakes for Donnie Yen's character. So that Sanada could say to him, it doesn't take, you don't have to be blind to see the right path, or whatever that their conversation was. It was almost like that whole thing was building to that point so that we could see and have more conflict as audience members projected onto Donnie Yen. So it didn't just seem like he was the hired gun who was claiming he was a friend. We could actually feel it. And it gave way to Berlin. Every time he would pop up, I would start thinking, there's no way he's going to go through with this, which is why I do think it's very fun the way that they flesh out this entire movie all the way up to the end.
Yeah.
He doesn't stop.
I'll give you that one.
And the way that they subvert that with John's choice at the end not to shoot, I thought that was really clever. And it needed to start for me with his showdown in Osaka. Maybe more than John's
got a round
fight sequence.
His line got a round of applause in my theater.
Which line did he say?
Didn't shoot, you arrogant bastard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, ours too. Everybody clapped.
But it's good. We need those moments to remind us that he's maybe not a psychopath, because he's rides the psychopath line.
But also,
very
they're reading the room quite well. In the do you feel like this was a bit of a classist statement? Because these guys are like the middlemen. They're the grunts. It's so, and the table is sitting up here doing some outlandish, shady shit. But these guys are just keeping it real in amongst them, despite being told to just kill this fucking guy. Like they keep a sense of honor. So you've got like these guys, and then the higher class ones just trying to pit them against each other so they can stay rich. And I was like, that's a neat little, I don't know whether that statement was intentional, but it definitely shone through.
And this is really obvious, but while we might say John's emotional grounding is gone, months, I don't know how much time has literally passed. Probably not too much time.
I think the first 3 movies were like 3 days. It was a day each.
So maybe weeks or months have gone by now.
Yeah.
He recovered very quickly from those wounds that he got stitched up on early on.
Yeah. It was important to me that there was an emotional grounding to each of these other major characters. Donnie Yen was with the daughter being motivated. Sanada being motivated by his daughter in a sense, protecting her in their final fight sequence. It was about protecting her to a certain extent. And then obviously we have something at the tail end of this movie that gives us she's now seeking revenge. We have Ian McShane not protecting, but losing Sharon. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Lance Reddick's character.
Yeah.
Which of course is really sad that he actually passed. But those supporting characters being grounded in something emotional almost helped make up for the fact that we've gone so far away from that being what John is talking about all the time. I mean, it still comes up. Loving husband, he says her name, he thinks about her. It's still there, but it's not quite. We've gone a long ways from why he started fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he became a very bad pet owner after that first dog died. His second dog has been totally neglected by him.
No name. Yeah.
Still hasn't named the dog.
Shout out to, I was in class the other day and some person that I really don't know.
Where were you in class?
Yeah, sure. This film school in Los Angeles. This guy went to I don't know how, but he got to go to the premiere for this in LA, and he said it was really emotional. He said it was very somber. It basically kind of turned into a memorial event.
Yeah.
For Lance
Reddick.
Reddick.
Yeah.
So that was, I didn't know his character dies in this. That was kind of weird to watch.
Yeah, that made me
That was
feel
weird
weird.
to watch. Yeah.
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 I was expecting a return
weirder
from
than-
him at the end.
Even weirder than Cocaine Bear with.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. No, it was so sincere. So all those things really mattered to me, and it almost it's so on the page that it's very clear that they're like trying to ground all of these people who, in a Shogun movie, martial arts standard, in a Bond movie, these would just be mustache twirling archetypal people.
Yeah.
They would just be characters. They would be foils in fighting to John Wick. So I like that they give them some kind of humanity, and that it keeps coming up, and that they kind of find and allow them to talk about it. I liked the last scene a lot between Donnie Yen and Keanu Reeves in the church.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
think she can hear you? No, but I might be wrong. And are you doing this for your daughter?
that was a great.
I liked that.
Yeah, that was
got
great. That lull was definitely needed, and I really appreciated it. And it got me. I was like, this is great.
It may be one reason why I didn't take to Shamier Anderson in the way I wanted to. He had his dog, which is cool, fun homage to the first one. I love the moment where John saves the dog, really fun callback.
Yeah.
But I didn't really understand.
Well, that's also
him
a
or who
turning
he
point for him.
was.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was weird. Was that supposed to be Halle Berry's character? And they
was
just
she
couldn't
supposed to
get
be in
it.
this
I
movie?
don't know. I'm like just thinking it's a guy with a dog, and I'm like, did they just recast that character, or
Did they literally just
change that
recast
character
it
'cause
from
they couldn't
number
get him?
3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shamier
I don't know.
Anderson
I'm
not
majored
sure.
Shamier Anderson majored in musical theater in college, so we got to shout out to our musical friends.
Like
It's weird, man.
his reaction when he saved the dog though was great. That sold for me 100%.
I really thought they were going to turn him into like an absolute flawless sniper. I thought he was going to be like a very picky, choosy,
Like the Legolas of guns.
Yeah, and like not really, what they kind of did with him, but go even further with whether or not he would take contracts. Like he kind of plays by his own rules and has his own code. And I thought they were going to kind of do that with him.
I love that idea. That was cool.
I
and
wonder
John Wick
was-
respecting that.
I wonder, was this like a backdoor pilot for him? He's going to get one of the other spin-offs.
God,
to
I
do it.
hope not. I mean, maybe.
you might be right.
If he gets money, that would be great. But it would be too bad if the movie gets compromised because they have to do these kinds of things.
Yeah.
I want to give it up. I think Bill Skarsgård gave the A+ performance in this movie.
Oh,
for me.
yeah.
I thought
You
he was
hated him.
so good. I mean, I think the accent was consistent enough for me. That was fine, but I really believed every moment.
Yeah.
Jeff, I don't know if you.
He apparently,
you
of
agree
course,
with that.
he apparently was offered a different role, or they said, "Here, read the script. We're thinking about you for this role." And he said, "Can I be the Marquis?" I forget which role. I don't want to guess because I would be wrong. Maybe it was the Seeker. Maybe they thought that role, and he was like, "I want to be the Marquis. Give me a fucking accent. I want to do it this way." Yeah, he was good because he had to carry the weight of the fact that the whole table was on his shoulders, even though he's not a member of the table, and that's great. And I also love that he is conniving and manipulative and obviously full of shit. And
So much confidence, otherworldly.
but also
You really had that quality.
But
Yeah.
there's all these funny quotes of like everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face, or like everybody's competent until a gun's pointed at their face, and that was him because he got skittish as soon as
Yeah, as soon as he
certain
didn't have total control of the situation.
Yeah.
I was also really, really, really happy with Clancy Brown's performance as the Harbinger.
Clancy Brown is one of my favorites of all time. He's just
creepy.
amazing in everything. I mean, he's the Kurgan.
It's the Kurgan. He always makes me think of Pet Cemetery.
Okay,
He's
because
the neighbor.
he'll always be the Kurgan from Highlander for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's always Shawshank Redemption for me. But that's okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. What'd you say? I'll kick you. I'll throw you off this fucking roof. That scene's so good. My
love your
other
wife?
A+ handout award, because like every scene I was just like, God, that's gorgeous. The production design, and location scout. It was just like wherever they shot was just, or whatever they were supposed to be where they were shooting, and the design of each
That
room.
set of stairs.
It was
Oh my God.
absolutely breathtaking. It was kind of like
Yeah.
it was kind of like how I felt about Bardo in a more like big picture, like a big action movie kind of thing. Like every single scene was fucking gorgeous to look at. And they got to go all over the world. They shot in like 7 countries. I thought that was so fucking fun going with them to all these amazing places that you know of, and then introducing, whether or not they were too long, introducing innovative ways to have people fight in them using that environment. I thought that was really great.
Yeah.
The arch in France, that was fun, dude, with all the cars.
Yeah.
Everybody getting hit by cars.
That turnaround or the whatever you call that. Yeah.
And that was
really
100% real too, dude. Because like, you know,
Not the dog.
that-
The dog was.
no, but none of the cars
Some
were.
of
I'm just
those
talking
cars-
about people questioned
Okay, I
about
was
the
like-
fact that no one stopped and no one freaked out. It's like you have underestimated how much Parisians want to get home on a fucking Friday.
I wouldn't stop unless I was sure.
'Cause I- dude,
unless I was
I've been in the
100%
middle
sure
of
that
that
I need
shit.
to stop. I would try to leave. I would be like, I'm minding my own business.
Yeah. No, my first
really
time in
liked-
Paris, I got off the train at Friday afternoon, not realizing what time it was, and I tried to get on the metro, and holy shit, man, the buzzer went off for the doors to close, and everyone just surged forward. They're screaming "Avancez" behind me, which I now know means "get the fuck out of the way, you stupid Australian." My wife went down in front of me and apparently grabbed some girl's boob on the train.
It happens.
But yeah, it's just like when they want to go home, they want to go home.
They got to get started. They don't want to lose that retirement.
Yeah.
They don't want to.
It's gonna now.
They
My
gotta-
family's
they
going
gotta
there
soak it
soon,
up.
and there's going to be trash everywhere, and
Yep.
old people are going to be angry. So what a time to go to Paris.
Well, talking about story, Jeff, you mentioned it earlier. Like, I think the most obvious thing that could have been removed is from the meeting where they make the rules for the duel to the following morning. That could have all been done in scenes like the church, Donnie Yen, some reflection moments, a couple conversations between maybe him and Ian McShane or Laurence Fishburne, and then we're there. And
it did seem weird to suddenly introduce the Warriors DJ.
Yeah, let's see if he can make it
Warriors DJ.
overnight.
Well, really,
and we have
that's,
the Warriors
It's the worst with the shooting, the shot of
do the right thing.
Do the right thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wonder if
lips.
I wonder if that actually came from like it's two things. It's the narrative where they're basically like walking you through the plot. Hey everybody, this is what's happening next. They have 1 hour, and it's like, I know I've been watching this movie for 2 hours and 25 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's the other thing it is it's the color. That's the only time we got those blues and reds and greens that we had, because I feel like Paris didn't have that as much as Osaka.
Dude, I must admit when I first saw the shot of those steps, I was like, all right, it's on. And my second thought was, thank fuck I'm not a grip on this film. And not even kidding, today a clip came out on the internet of everyone loading in on those steps, and fucking Keanu is carrying cases up with the grips.
I mean,
must have been hard. Dave, do you think when he gets knocked down the stairs, that was on a wire, the camera? Or do you think that was like the longest crane arm of all time? When they really just go down truck.
was your audience
right
laughing?
beside
By the way,
him?
my audience was
I
laughing.
mean, they might have put dolly tracks and had a break on the dolly. Because I've ridden on dolly tracks that long on a motorized dolly.
Really fun. Everybody laughed really hard at that. Let's talk about some of your favorite. You talked about going up. The vertical overhead sequence was really cool. I really loved. It's a simple shot, but I don't know if it's in the Louvre. I've never been to Paris, but that amazing trucking shot with Ian McShane when he's walking into the museum.
Oh yeah,
and it's so long.
Yeah.
And it just the paintings get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're like, where are we? And you know,
and then they
finally
set up
comes
a
in the
couch in
shot.
front of the one picture.
That was fucking great, dude. Ian McShane was solid gold as usual.
And, he's not even talking.
yeah,
He's just held the frame the whole way in. No one can
Paris sequence,
swagger like
though.
that man.
Did it frustrate you that it's not that they broke their own rule, but we have seen that pool of secretarial females covered in tattoos putting out the hits and the money. We've never seen them do this. Did that frustrate you that they were updating and telling you where he was and stuff? I feel like this is the first movie where they really showed them doing that.
They
Yeah.
were like rooting for the person to die.
Yeah, that's never happened before. It used to be colder and it was like another world. It didn't feel like they
Well,
were
it's very matter of fact
in
before.
communication with it. Yeah. So it was fun, going around Paris. Some of my favorite things, this is not really a criticism, but some of the things that I did love so much about number 1 and number 2 was that you almost felt like you had a real-time camera and you kind of just stayed with John as he kind of moved through his world. Whereas this one felt very, cutting back and forth, a third voice, kind of commenting on what was happening.
John Wick is missing for like the first 20 minutes after that first initial scene. Like you don't see him again for like almost 20 minutes of film.
from the Osaka sequence to
No,
is that what you're talking
leading
about?
up to where he appears at Osaka. He's not in the movie for like a fair portion.
Yeah.
Well, he's in the openings. He's like, I want my ring.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we know you want your ring.
Yeah.
In the fucking desert. It's so funny.
He goes back there. He goes back to the desert.
I really liked one of my favorite kills. I don't know anything about guns, but when they give him that crazy 9mm, when Laurence Fishburne gives it to him, and he says, "And this puppy has teeth." When John dismantles it and like stabs the guys on the stairs with pieces of the gun.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was fucking cool, man. I think
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite
That
kills.
was creative.
My other favorite kill was when Sanada's daughter, Rina Sawamaya, Akira, when she's killing that giant guy and he's climbing the steps, that big fat dude.
yeah, she's
and
climbing
like,
up
keeps
him.
stabbing him. That was really fun. I thought that was a great kill
And
as
he
well.
just keeps yelling. He just, He just keeps yelling the whole time.
All right.
How about do you have any favorite kills? And did you think that John Wick would have jumping out of that building and landing on the street?
No. I mean,
In 3 or in a different one?
no, the one where he jumps
No,
out
I
the
missed
window
it.
and lands on the car. I kind of base my assumption on that on how fucked up I would have been after that impact, and then
You're dead, dude.
yeah,
You'd
well,
be dead.
I divide that by 2 because it's John Wick, but like still,
Oh, that's you think
Divide
really
by
dead.
You
By 2.
divide by 2, she says.
Do you have any favorite kills? Were there any standout fun moments? Any big boss murders?
It's harder for this because there
I
were
liked
more.
Scott Atkins when his fall and break the neck
yeah,
on the
that was-
stairs.
that was one of my
really
faves.
great one. And how John like body checked him, like his final like hit on him was really great. Jeff, did you have any standouts?
I
where you're
lo- I mean-
did your audience react really strong to anything?
There was one I remember saying Jesus fucking Christ, and the person next to me like saying
The
yeah
first
I know, like
time
having to
on the
relate to me.
Paris
And I'm trying to think-
streets, the first time on the Paris streets when he gets hit by the car
Yeah.
and
yeah.
it throws him into that bus, and they introduce like that's the first time, and then everybody gets hit by cars after that. But that first one was fucking brutal.
motherfuckers had some stamina. I'll tell him that.
I mean, I
it's just so
loved a lot
ridiculous.
of the slashing ones with the swords in that basically the glass sequence, but anything in Osaka, all of
The
it.
second climb of the steps with Donnie Yen there as well.
That was cool.
That was
Yeah.
fucking cool.
Yeah, dude.
And there was
that
definitely when that guy, I forget who that guy was, the guy that just wouldn't leave us alone the whole movie.
die.
He was just
He was the-
would
he
not
was this
die.
dude, he
Why
was this-
won't you die?
He was this movie's Jaws.
He was this movie's
It
Jaws.
was.
Or who is it in Austin Powers? Why won't you die? Who is it? It's
That's yeah, I know who you're talking about.
is it just Goldmember? No, it's not. It's
No, it's not
It's,
Goldmember.
no,
It's
it's the woman.
it's the
in
woman.
Time to die, Powers.
Oh,
It's the
yeah.
woman that tries to kill him. The fall will kill us both, Powers. Why won't you die?
that was in our franchise phase. That's it. We'll see how the fourth one goes. For the sake for the sake of the stunties, there were a couple of the fire ones with the bullets that like torch the people. There were a couple of those where they were on fire on camera for way longer than I'm used to seeing. So I don't know if they immediately like. I imagine every second of that audio was ADR'd because they probably were immediately getting the fire extinguishers, and as soon as they went off camera, were
Oh yeah.
very loudly
Fucking crazy,
for
dude.
every single one of those, because there were guys like probably like running into the arms of people with fire extinguishers. There's so many of those. Probably a bunch of those. A couple, a lot of the stairs ones. A lot of the stairs ones where they died and then fell down the stairs and stuff. Yeah.
Oh man, getting thrown down the stairs. There's some fun behind BTS, footage of the stunties like working and just getting to see people
and that
doing
scene
things like
wasn't
that, and
there.
then just standing up and getting back to
Yep.
getting
They
back
come
to
over
one
and
and
check
doing
on
it
him.
again.
Like, you okay? You bleeding? Nah, you're not bleeding. Back in
I
you
only
go.
saw. I think there was only really one out of thousands of fight moves filmed openly. Hard to hide these stunts and stuff, folks. I think there was only like one moment in the Osaka, and it was in the Osaka sequence, where I really did notice maybe they should have shot that one more time. Where I did see like a stunt person like just doing some bullshit and actively like waiting for John to turn around so that they could.
I saw one
like,
or two
start
as
their
well.
thing.
So, somebody who like
for the most part, they were really great.
somebody who like had a gun, but John needed to shoot them first.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, what's going on over there? Like there were a couple of those, and these are apparently trained assassins who have a very high quote.
Damn, yeah. Damn, mate, a monologue
Jeff,
and curiosity.
Yeah.
Jeff, I like what you said because it's more and more true as this goes on, even from the first one, because Keanu was no spring chicken in the first one either. Like, the whole premise of the first one is that he was out of the game.
Yeah.
And
For
he
7
comes back in.
years.
So I like what you said. It is just getting more and more obvious too, in a good way. He is just the survivor. It's like he was the Baba Yaga. He was the scariest. Now he's just unkillable. You know, and now he will kill you eventually just because he's going to outlive you. It's, you know.
So we're in spoilers. You think he's still alive? Huh?
Of course.
Yeah. Do you think he's? I think he's still alive. Yeah. I think it's the ultimate hiding. Right, it's the ultimate foil.
Well,
he has his freedom now because death freed him.
You would think,
like
those who cling to life.
But he had promised to kill them all.
I think
I'm going to kill all of them. That was my favorite line. And then but I'm going to kill them all. He had a bunch of good Keanu deliveries.
Even
in this movie.
honestly, just like his like those kinds of lines, like just got huge others. But no, it's fuck off is the line that like my audience laughed at the most.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Remember your dog.
Fuck off. It was the overlap was like he knew as soon as he opened his mouth, he was like fuck whatever he says, fuck off. Like, it's so good.
Everybody really laughed.
Remember your daughter after he just helped John Wick get up the stairs. John Wick's dead without him.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the stab. Is that why he did that? Why did he stab John's hand?
Because he says you owe me a debt. Because it was his right hand too, right? Wasn't his shooting hand?
Yeah, it was his shooting hand. That's
he
what
was
I
still
thought
able. He was still
was...
able to shoot.
I think he was just even in the odds. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was either even in the odds or he just said like you owe me a debt. You know, and I feel like they have rules. I think the most important thing that we're saying here we're well over an hour now.
Yep.
The rules matter. And so when you get into 4 movies, you have to start breaking the rules, which they broke at the end of the second movie with the shooting the Continental. And then in the third movie, they deconsecrated the Continental. So they sort of just shattered the rules. And then in the fourth movie, they just deconsecrate. So there's just the rules, whatever the rules are really starting to go. It's like the adjudicator didn't help. So now there's a harbinger and now there's the old ways, but there's all these different rules. So I feel like there's a general understanding that supersedes the rule books, which is like, you do something for me, I do something for you, and you almost don't question it. So why does stabbing the hand account for helping me up the stairs? I don't know, but if that's even, we'll just call it a day.
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah.
And last thing I'll say, Jeff, I thought of you when he and McShane said, just have fun out there.
Yes, I thought that too with the actors. I was like, you fucking stunnies better have some goddamn fun.
Just have fun out there. That's
all right.
Funny.
Let's wrap this up.
Dave's ready to go.
Well,
it's usually Jeff.
All right, people, that sound means it is officially time for us to wrap this up and get into our final segment of the show, What You've Been Watching, where we give you our recommendations of the week and tell you what we've been watching. I watched 3 John Wick, so let's see if I had time for anything else. Dave, what you been watching?
Yeah, honestly,
I'm still progressing through Marvel. I did Thor, Captain America, and some of the shorts that fit in between them this week.
Oh,
and
cool.
Dude, that first Thor movie still holds up, and the first Captain America movie is just fucking brilliant.
Love it.
Nice, dude. I watched John Wick 2, and then I watched in class we watched some of WandaVision, believe it or not, because it's a class on memory and cinema and trauma and the body, and that episode where Catherine Hahn kind of walks her back through her life to try to figure out when she started doing this massive hex. Yeah. That's all I watched.
I still wish Wanda
busy.
I wish Wanda did it. I just wish it was all Wanda. That's just me. I'm the only one. Anyway, 3 John Wicks. Did I watch anything else? I finally finished Kunk on Earth, which is great. I'm still behind on Succession, so people just leave me alone. All right, just leave me alone. I'm gonna catch up. I'm using John's account, and he was doing the rewatch. I didn't want to fuck with his numbers. I know I could set up another profile, but I'm trying to be incognito here.
Coming to get you. They're coming to get
John,
you.
John, are you gonna watch tonight? Are you gonna watch the new Succession?
Is anybody watching Picard season 3?
What was that, Dave?
Is anyone watching Picard season 3? Because, dude,
It's-
that is next gen as fuck. It is so good. The third season in particular, really good.
Guys, you know what? I lied to you. I watched both National Treasure movies.
What?
Ah, yes.
I forget you just watched 5 hours. Actually, I forgot I rewatched a 3-hour movie as well.
They're so good too.
What do you think?
Man.
I rewatched No Time to Die, which is why I referenced it before, and I don't know why. I rewatched Quantum of Solace, and we started Skyfall, which I'd already rewatched before No Time to Die recently. So I rewatched. I didn't mean to. I just turned it on, expecting to watch like 30 minutes of it, and I realized I didn't have to get up the next morning, so I kept going. It's pretty good, but they need to restart. I can't wait for the restart. After watching John Wick and then seeing Bond, I was like, John Wick might be better than Bond at some of this stuff, and that's too bad to say, you know? Yeah, I know, but we'll see.
No, yeah.
You'll get emails.
Yeah, but anyway, you guys are the best. Thank you, film fans. We'll see you next time. Is it Dungeons?
I'm pretty sure it's Dungeons and Dragons.
We're gonna jump off the roof if we. Honestly, the initial reviews are really positive. For
I've heard, which is good. It can't be worse than the last one.
There's another one?
Yeah, it's way back though. It's like early 2000s.
Well, we'll talk about this off camera. See you guys.
Can't drink anymore.